If you're new to our channel, my name's Samantha. I am with Top Dog Tips. I've been a pet owner for decades and have been working in the pet industry for about 15 years. So I have lots of experience with puppies and dogs, and I am asked all the time about advice for new pet parents who have adopted a puppy. I decided to put together this video to share with you 7 things that I think every puppy parent should know. The first thing that I tell every new pet parent is to create a routine. Whether you've adopted a puppy or an older dog, bringing any animal into your house, you want to create a routine. A routine helps a puppy get to know your family, your home, and your lifestyle. Do your best to keep mealtime, playtime, and a sleep schedule, daily walks, all of that stuff should be around the same time every day. It's pretty easy to do, especially if you have a consistent work schedule. For example, you might take your dog for a walk before work and after work, one or the other. You should typically feed your pet at the same times every day, and you can do things like playtime, have designated playtime, designated time to sleep. The puppy should be going to bed around the same time every day, getting up around the same time every day. So you're keeping that schedule consistent each day, even if your personal schedule isn't. For example, it's easy when you have a work schedule to take your dog for a walk before work and after work, but if you have a day off, it may not be as easy. Try to keep the routine as structured as possible. You will also need to create a structured sleep schedule, as I mentioned, which is not always easy if you aren't consistently sleeping on a schedule, but your puppy should be sleeping on a schedule. He should go to bed around the same time every night, and if it helps to have him in a kennel or have a separate area for him because you're still awake, that's okay. Whatever is gonna work for you, try to keep that schedule as consistent as possible. It helps with everything from sleep training to potty training and everything in between. It just makes life all around easier for you and your new pet. As I mentioned, it helps them get to know your family, your home, your environment, and the things that you're gonna be doing day to day. Secondly, create a puppy space. I am a big fan of crate training. I always crate train my dogs when it's done properly. I personally feel like it's one of the best things you can do for a new puppy or a new dog in your home. A crate, when crate trained properly, a crate gives your dog their own space. It gives them a place to go to get away when they're overstimulated or they just want some time to themselves when they want to rest. That's their own personal space, and it works really well to keep your pet safe and contained as well, especially with a new puppy when you're away from the house. So I am a firm believer in crate training. I have tons of guides. There's lots of information if you click the link below this video on how to crate train, picking the right crate, all of those things. So there's lots of resources on our website. We have dozens of resources on crate training if you want some more information on that. But creating a puppy space when you bring your new puppy home is super important. It gives them a safe place when you're not able to keep an eye on them, and it also gives them their own little personal space. We all like to go to our own room or a special spot that we have in our home when we need a little bit of time to ourselves, and dogs are no different. So creating a puppy space allows them to have that. If you don't want to crate train your dog, create an area in your home that's set up specifically for your new puppy. The area should be safe and free of any hazards or objects that the puppy can reach. No wires, no small things to chew on, no access to anything that could get him into trouble, harmful chemicals, anything like that. So for example, a lot of people think a bathroom is a great place to keep their dog. Typically it has some kind of hard floor that's easy to clean messes and things like that, but there are also some chemicals in there you don't want your dog to get into. So just create whatever space you want to create, but make sure there's no hazards available. You can use a puppy playpen or something like that to create an area too if you don't have a room that can be used. Giving your puppy his own space to retreat to when he's tired, overstimulated, nervous is part of creating a safe environment for him. It gives him a place to go that's all his own. Every member of your family needs to understand that this is the dog's place to be alone, and they need to leave him be when he's in his space. So typically this isn't a big deal with adults, but for young children, you have to let them know that this is the puppy's area. They don't go in the crate, they don't go in the puppy area, they don't go in the playpen with the dog. This is the dog's personal space. If you have other animals in the home, same thing. They need to be taught that that is not their area to go into. Third, designate a potty place. This is something that a lot of new pet parents don't think of, but it makes potty training worlds easier. When you take your puppy outside to go to the bathroom, take him to the same spot each time. Did you know that a dog's sense of smell is actually over 10,000 times stronger than a human sense of smell? So your dog will be able to smell the potty area. Other animals have been there. After he's used it, he's gonna associate, he'll be able to smell it before you even get there. As you're walking towards it, he's gonna smell that. He's gonna know that that's the designated potty area, and he'll quickly associate the area with a bathroom zone, which again makes your potty training so much easier, and it's less time consuming for you. You're not having to follow your puppy around the yard for hours, walking around for an area to go potty. He's gonna know that that's the potty area, and that's a good spot for you to be able to just kind of stand there and observe and watch. When it comes to puppies, there is no such thing as too much play. Playing with your puppy will not only help to grow and foster the bond between the two of you much faster, it also helps to stimulate your puppy both mentally and physically. Puppies seem to have this endless energy, and that's a lot of the complaints that I hear from pet parents, is that I just can't tire this dog out. This dog has endless energy. I don't know how to get him to settle down. Pet owners have trouble with bad behaviors. Pet owners have trouble with sleep schedules, getting their puppy to sleep through the night. All of these things can be fixed by playing with your puppy, stimulating him mentally and physically. The structured playtime, it burns all of this energy in a safe and healthy way. I always tell pet parents, kind of my motto when having a puppy is you need to tire their brain and their body. For example, going for a walk or hike, it's gonna tire them out physically, but their brain may not be tired yet. So when they come home, maybe relaxing and unwinding by chewing on a nice healthy chew is a great way to get a puppy, their body's tired, they're gonna lay down, but then they're chewing, and that's one, it's helping that natural need to chew, and two, it's helping to mentally drain their brain. Interactive toys are a great thing to use with puppies. If you don't have the time to play with them, taking your dog and having a structured playtime, whether it's chug or fetch in the yard, whether it's playing with toys, chewing, going for walks, hiking, doing things to burn that physical energy but also stimulate them mentally is so important, and will help you to, one, raise a happy, healthy puppy, but also it just helps to kind of all around just make things a lot easier because you're not dealing with all of that excessive puppy energy all the time. Number 5, and a really important tip, this one almost made the top of my list because I really think this is super important. Training has to begin immediately, and I'm talking the minute that you bring your new puppy home. Training begins as soon as you pick them up. The training starts. So don't let your puppy chew on your fingers or a blanket or anything in the car. If they're chewing on something in the car ride home, this is not acceptable behavior. It's not going to be acceptable down the road. So we need to nip it in the bud as soon as possible. Potty training needs to begin as soon as you get home. If you plan to crate train your puppy, it should start on day 1. Many pet owners bring a new puppy in and they worry that the puppy is away from their family and their litter. They worry that it's a new environment. And so they kind of spoil their puppy for those first couple of days at home. They let the puppy sleep in the bed with them. They never take their eyes off the puppy. They never let them have time to play and explore. They kind of coddle, and it's exciting. And I understand that. I brought many puppies home and I totally agree with that. But one of the things that you have to remember is that in those 2 or 3 days where you're spoiling the puppy, you're also creating those bad behaviors and starting to create that poor routine. So the routine, the training, the discipline starts from day 1. For example, if you feed your puppy table scraps or people food those first few days, that's going to create the habit of begging very early on. It only takes a couple of days to create those bad habits. So you may be thinking you're spoiling your new puppy and you're treating him great, but you're also creating some bad behaviors that you may have to correct down the line. If you let your puppy sleep in bed with you, this is a really big one because a lot of pet parents, they don't want to wake up in the middle of the night. They think the puppy's going to sleep better with them in the bed. They're going to be waking up easier if the puppy's in bed with them, if they're crying, whining, or whatever, if they need to go out. They think that it's going to be easier. If you don't want your dog to sleep in the bed with you long term, start on day 1, crate training your dog at night, or teaching him to sleep in a bed area that's his own, or whatever you're going to do. But start those sleep routines from day 1. It will ensure that you begin consistent training as soon as your new bundle of joy is officially yours, and get started on the right foot right away. Another really important thing that I think slips a lot of new pet parents' minds, socialization. You want to socialize your puppy. This is going to also help to ward off a lot of problems down the road. So your puppy needs to spend time with other humans, dogs, cats, whatever animals you're gonna want them to be used to. You're gonna want to socialize them. You're not gonna wanna keep them in the house all the time and have them be fearful of new people, new animals. So socialize. This also gets your dog out of the house, used to new environments. You're gonna have a dog that's more open and welcoming of new experiences. And if you keep your pet more sheltered and in your home all the time, it's gonna start to develop that habit of being timid and being fearful of new people, new places, new animals. The earlier your puppy is socialized, the easier the process is going to be. Much like small children, young puppies haven't learned to be wary of strange humans or animals. It makes socializing them a lot easier. If you adopt an older dog that hasn't been socialized, or you let your puppy, say you don't take your puppy out of the home often, you don't see very many people for those first few months, the older the puppy gets, the more that they become wary of strange things. They get used to their environment, they get used to their humans, the other animals in your home, and they become very wary of new experiences. Older dogs that have not been exposed to many humans or other animals are more likely to be afraid, and this could mean aggressive towards other people or animals when meeting them. So it's really, really important to socialize your new puppy as much as possible. And finally, my last tip that again makes things just easier overall down the road is to groom your new puppy often. A lot of times new puppies don't need their nails trimmed, they don't need to be brushed, they don't need to be bathed as much as they would be when they're older and they're getting into more things and their nails are growing faster. Their coat maybe needs to be brushed as it grows, but it doesn't matter. You want to get your dog used to being handled that way and getting used to the grooming tools as early as possible. If you begin grooming your dog when he's young, he's going to be used to being handled. For example, clipping their nails, he's going to get used to having his paws touched, his fingers separated, and those are things that if you go months and months without doing that, it's a new experience for your dog. It could be a scary experience for your dog. So getting him used to that when he's a puppy, again, younger dogs like small children, they're just not as wary of those things. They're not as timid, they're not as scared. So it's really easy to get them used to being groomed, being handled, having kind of those strange things like having their fingers separated or their ears touched, their face touched, being held and restrained when you're grooming them, clippers, brushing their teeth, all of that stuff is a new experience, but they're kind of excited about it when they're puppies and not fearful of it when they're an adult and they haven't had those experiences yet. This is all gonna make grooming down the road a really simple task. If you wait until your dog's older, he's gonna be fearful and uncomfortable and anxious, and it just makes the entire grooming process a lot more difficult. So those are my 7 really top tips for new pet parents, puppy parents. If you have tips to share, be sure to send them to us. You can check in on our Facebook page. You can comment, if you click the link below this video, you can comment on here on our YouTube channel or on our website. If you're checking out the article, the link is below the video. You can check that out and leave your comments there as well.